Happy Friday, everyone. Betty Withrow and I are here with our guest, Stephen Walker. We met him about a week ago. We had quite a nice conversation. Turns out that we have a lot of things in common. One of the things being we all started doing online marketing when everything needed to be invented. Like there weren't any people teaching things. And to some degree, it's still true. You still have to, it's still like a lab. But over the years, we've all developed a whole pile of different skills. Betty's focuses on the writing, and Stephen and I do a bunch of things. And maybe Stephen, you can explain what it is you do because it's a lot, and and basically what you're offering now, and then how you got there in your journey through life and business.
Wow. Well, thank you for inviting me on your show. I'm excited to be here, and that is a lot to cover. I don't know if we have enough time to go through all of that, but basically, what our company does, MannaFest Media LLC, we are an agency that handles brand development and marketing, and we do everything from web design, logo design to buying advertising in the market research, that kind of thing. So, pretty much anything our client needs by way of advertising, branding, or marketing, we can do it, or within our network, we can find partners like yourselves to help out with that. Um, and how I got started, years ago, like you were saying, years ago, we had to learn how to do everything on our own because we didn't have the internet. We had to figure things out. But I always have been an artist and a designer and love helping people come up with creative concepts for ideas or things to help them with their challenges. And so that's something that over the years I've been able to start to monetize, and that's where my company came from. I decided to create, of course, as I was generating revenue, a company that could help me to reach even more people. And I did that through, the network that I had at the time was through my church. You can see the name is MannaFest, and so it is a Christian name. And basically, what it just means is that, when you have a vision and a purpose in your life, God gives you provision to bring that to pass. And so there's a lot of things that are going to have to happen, and things are going to have to align to get you to where you're going to be to fulfill your purpose. Well, I come along and I just sit down with my partners, my business owners, and say, okay, where are you right now? Where are the gaps and where are the challenges you're having by way of branding, marketing, advertising, and what do we need to put in place in order to help you overcome those challenges? And I love it. It's just the creative ideation and brainstorming is my most favorite thing to do, of course. And so because of that, my website is manifestmediallc.com. So it's basically my whole company's name. And you can go there and you can see all the different things that we have to offer.
Yeah, there's quite a range of things. You do quite a lot of branding. Branding's important. You create websites, and you have some marketing channels too. And one of the reasons is we create websites for our clients because we have to, but we don't put ourselves out there as a website uh, service, not with the collaboration that Betty and Roy and I do together. And but you love doing that stuff. You love getting into
Yeah.
there and figuring out. In a way, your process is similar to ours. We sit down and see where you right now, where do you want to go, and we map out where they want to go, and you do something similar with that, and you like creating something new, and yeah. So Betty, do you want to chip in here?
Yeah, sure, Greg. Well, the branding aspect of things is very important. I actually earlier today I was talking with a young copywriter who it turns out was in Mozambique, which I didn't expect, and we were talking about how oftentimes the clients don't quite realize where they need to position themselves in their marketing, and so it's part of our job as the people creating the content to get with them and help them to understand what their brand is about, who do they serve, what are they offering, and how to address like you want to offer something that people actually want to buy, not just something that you think is a good idea. So that part of working on the branding is genius, because without that, nothing else is really going to work. And Yeah, so I was happy to hear you say that, Stephen, about how the brainstorming is really the favorite part, because you help people to achieve that kind of clarity that's going to really make things click. Without
Yeah,
that real clarity about exactly where they need to be in terms of their messaging with their clients, they're not going to reach the people that they need at the level that they need to reach them.
yeah. When
Yeah,
you think
when you
about
think
it, you
about it,
have
you have
whether you're a
whether you're a
lawyer, a doctor, a mechanic, and that's your lane. You know what to do there. But when it in terms of taking what you do and translating that message to the consumers, that's a hard thing to do, and especially if you're not used to writing copy or understanding the psychographics around what motivates people to buy and consumers to respond to advertising. So being able to come in and help create that messaging that resonates with the audience, I think it's going to be important, and not just what they hear, but also what they see. Because if you're which because of technology and because of the internet, consumers are very savvy, and so they're shopping around. They're looking at your competitors, and if they go to your website and your website is basic and it's clunky and it's old and outdated and links aren't working, and then they go to your competitor and they have everything that they need right there, and then one click they're making a sale. They're going to go to the one that's the easiest one to use and the one that looks like they're ready to do business. And I think that's the other value that we kind of bring to the table when we're meeting with clients, is take a look at their existing marketing structure and say, okay, what's working for you, what's not, how do we come alongside you and start to rebrand and revamp what you're doing. I actually had a client that is a financial company, and she hired me to come in for that exact same thing. She was struggling to attract new customers, and she hired me to come in and redesign her website, her logo, create social media posts, and help her understand how to use that effectively. And then also running targeted ads, not only through social media but through terrestrial radio. So actually, through the radio stations in the area where her business was located, I was able to write scripts and place that advertising for her, and she had explosive revenue growth because of that. The key is, it's the amount of time that a consumer spends with you will create what's called brand loyalty. And if you're not in enough places and you're not making enough visual or audio impact, they're not going to be a customer for long if they are a customer, because someone will win them away from you. But the idea is to create a brand that stands out in the marketplace and separates you from your competitors. That point of differentiation oftentimes comes from just the way you look. And if you have the same website and the same branding you've had for the last 5 years, you are way behind, because things have changed in 5 years, and we help our clients to change with the times.
Yeah, that's so true. I think one of the things that we find is we meet people in networking groups, and then they say they're doing something, and then when we look at their LinkedIn profile or social media and their website, maybe what their online presence is 2 or 3 ideas or lifetimes behind, and it doesn't really they're not aware of it really. So
Mm.
you do something, you go in, take a look at their whole presence, and then design a solution, get them up to date, get them coherent. Really, I think that's one of the things, is having a consistent and coherent message that it's not so easy to achieve really, but it needs some effort. um, I'm really intrigued with the radio network aspect of this. And you got radio and television background, do you?
Yes,
Or
for the last 30 years, I've been in marketing, advertising, in radio and television. I have worked with two of the major radio broadcasters in the country, iHeartMedia and Radio One, and then also Intercom Media as well. So, I've learned, of course, over the years how to do that. But on the television side, I worked with Capital Broadcasting out of North Carolina, and they had a Fox affiliate station, and I worked for Fox Television there. So yeah, that's where the bugs were biting me and giving me the inspiration to help my clients really navigate buying and understanding how to buy properly media advertising and get the biggest bang for their buck. A lot of advertisers are spending tens of thousands of dollars a month, and the return on investment is very, very minimal. And they're just kind of like setting it and forgetting it. And that's a lot of money to throw out of the window every month. And so I come in and really take a look and do an audit of what it is you're buying, what kind of response you're getting, Are you on the proper stations? Are the stations giving you what they should be giving you to reach your target market? Is the message resonating? If not, do we need to change the messaging and uh, and those kind of things? And then on the television side, of course, being able to come in and visualize what it could be in terms of your commercial to reach the masses, what it needs to be, and write the script and produce the commercial. That's something that I absolutely love doing, and yeah, so that's something that I've been doing for a very long time.
No, that's fabulous. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't even think of as an opportunity. Like right now, there's a huge emphasis on online and social media and maybe video and that kind of thing. And then I don't think it crosses the minds of many people that radio and more of those podcast kind of things could be a big opportunity, and even television. And part of it, maybe things people think that it's just too expensive to even consider doing that.
I
Um,
tell you, Greg, that's you hit the nail on the head. That's the problem with most advertisers is they think it's too. They don't know. And
yeah,
that thought is what prevents them from competing with the businesses that are just like them in their market, who are already on television, who are grabbing every eye and every ear on
yeah,
radio because they're spending the money where they need to. I will tell you, you can get commercials for really inexpensive on both television and radio, less than $50. And most people would never believe that. They think, oh no, it's $20,000 per commercial. No, if you're going to advertise during the Super Bowl or something, it's going to get up there. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, Monday through Sunday, you could really have in any market, you can find a station that reaches your target market, and you can be there year after year and dominate and start realizing some really good increased revenue from that.
That's a very good consideration. I'm in a little small town, and there's a couple. Only actually, there's only one local radio station, and then you can get a couple of other ones. But it's they're always doing little announcements and little ads, and people who do fairly consistent little radio shots, because that's you're almost guaranteed an audience in on the
Wherever
radio.
wherever your customers are, if
Yeah,
you can, that's where you need to be.
yeah,
And if there's only one station, that's one place in town where if they only have 100 listeners, that's more than 100 clients you have right now. So that's
yeah.
100 people you could potentially convince to come your way. And if you play the percentage game, if you just got 10%, that's 10 new customers, and what could that look like in terms of revenue for you? So it's worth the investment.
So Betty, you want to jump in again here?
Yeah, well, you said the word investment because people view things as an expense where it's actually an investment. And, looking at how much is going to come back to you for the effort that you put out. As you're talking about radio, I'm thinking about certain local stations here, not super local, but the same guy's been advertising the same thing for decades on that station. Now, why do you think he does that? It must be working,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So yeah, it's a good strategy.
yeah. It
Yeah,
is.
it is.
And
And
along the
along the
lines of
lines
what
of what of our
our strategy is, we create once and use everywhere. So our process with often it starts with Betty or myself. We come up, we take some asset and write it, and then we use it for blog posts, social media, video, and here with you, Stephen, we can add radio and maybe even some television ads, and so all of a sudden your your asset, like, you create it once and use it in many places, and it's not that like for you, you would probably adapt the script a little bit, make it radio audio friendly, and then go from there. Yes, you're not inventing everything new each time.
Sure, and that's what campaigns are for. So
Yeah,
the messaging might change during different holidays throughout the year, different seasons. If you're reaching different parts of the audience, you speak to men a certain way, you speak to women a certain way, you speak to the youth a certain way. So there's a way to take the same information and just cater it to that particular part of that audience. But the key is to be consistent and to be relevant. And if you can do that, you can get some real good response from that.
yeah. In Canada here, it's become a trend. They don't even wait for Christmas to come around. They'll do Christmas in July, and they'll send the same stuff out in the middle of July. So,
Yeah, yeah, it's the same thing everywhere. I mean, I think retailers, of course, are finding it harder and harder to realize those revenue increases year over year, and they're hurting, and so that's why Christmas started getting pushed back from December to November to October, and now we're in July. It's eventually going to be year-round Christmas specials. So, so yeah. But you got to be able to cut through the clutter too. So that's again when it comes down to branding. What makes you unique and what makes you stand out. It's going to be important, and you have to understand what that is, and then how to tell your story. And having people like us to come in and sit down with you and go, okay, what is that point of differentiation? What makes you different? Why should someone shop with you? Why should they spend money with you year after year after year? Why should they build a relationship with you? And if you can't tell that story, well, then you need to definitely talk to us and
Yeah,
give Greg and Betty a call so we can meet with you guys. Love to help you with that.
that would be fabulous. Yeah, I was thinking the Hallmark Channel probably plays Christmas movies almost all year round. Those little romantic Christmas movies.
Sure. Sure. And actually, you bring up a good point because, there's this thing called theater of the mind, right? So when it comes to television, you're getting both the visual and the audio, and you're basically just receiving them both, right? But on the radio side, theater of the mind is this. I want you to think about you traveling to your favorite place for the summer, and you're with your family, and you're sitting out and you're eating. Well, each person that hears that is thinking of a different place. They have a different family. They're eating a different meal. And the power of radio is being able to use the theater of the mind to build the picture so that people can feel closer to the message. Because now you're speaking to me directly with the things that I know and I understand. And that creates that brand loyalty. When you do that in a smart way, you can actually use that month after month to build traction with that audience. And when they have a need, you're the first person they go to. I don't care who knocked on their door, who's selling them a special, whose friend said you should use such and such. They know that they've heard this message from this company and they build a relationship. So if they're going to buy that thing, it's going to be them first. They're going to go to them first because they're loyal.
Absolutely. So that's the power of those radio mysteries and shows. The shadow knows. Because it is the theater of the mind, and the imagination is triggered, and I think Betty and I come from kind of a literature background, and that's the kind of thing with the book. You've read the book, and then almost always the movie's a little bit disappointing because it's often a sketch, or whatever we had in our minds is not what's on the screen. So.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I've written over 50 poems myself, and I've written 5 books. So I've learned that when it comes to creativity, one thing about the written word, it's the same thing about the spoken word. It gives you the ability to conjure the image up according to the way you need to see it, and you can travel with that. The written word allows you, like the way Betty puts together her blog post, the way she writes, draws people in and carries them through the storyline so that whoever that client is building a relationship with the audience. And it's just like having your favorite author that you follow. Every book they write, you're going to get it. You're going to read it because you love their writing style. You love their approach. And I think that's the value of having someone who's creative while they write, which, of course, we're not going to get into AI, but I think that's something that AI lacks. They don't have a soul. It doesn't have a soul, so it's not able to do what Betty does.
Yeah.
Thanks, Stephen. I appreciate that very much. One of the things I like to say is I write as you, not for you. And for me, one of the best parts of it all is when I really feel like I get where the person is coming from so that I can actually do that. Get inside their head, be with their feelings, understand how they see the world, and then take the skill set that I have and amplify that message. That's the whole thing. And like you said, I can't see that AI is going to be able to do that. It's not real. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I think that's why customers and clients they want it to reach out to someone they can touch, someone they can speak to, because it's in the dialogue we're able to really determine what it is you're looking for. And I think that's what the value of what you guys have together is. You're putting together your network and you're putting together different skill sets. We all come from different backgrounds. We're bringing all that to the table. And I think being able to draw out of that business owner what is the message they're trying to convey, and how do we then take our giftings and create that for them. I think it'll save them so much time and frustration. We can take that weight off of them and make it so much easier.
Exactly. That's one of the things that really appealed to us about you, Stephen, is that you have a very similar approach to clients that we do, and you have things that you bring to the table that we don't have. So you had mentioned it a few times. I think that's the thing. The invitation is anybody who's looking to expand their business, clarify their brand, get the word out, get more sales, whatever it is they want to achieve. Maybe it's not sales, it could be a nonprofit or something. Just how to get everything out there. I think the invitation is to reach out to Stephen or Betty or myself or Roy, and we'll start that conversation. And then I think that the starting point, I think, is the same for all of us. Is we'll meet with you. You can explain, where you're at, what you're trying to do, where you want to go, and then we'll come up with a roadmap. And we can right now the richness of the map that we can offer with collectively. That's one of the things we love about collaboration is we all bring different things to the table. So you can get fabulous writing, some video, a really nice website, and even some radio. So you would just be everywhere, and your brand would be everywhere. And I think you'll look back at it and say you're really proud of what you've done. So that all starts with making an appointment with us, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and the key is to build a brand that lasts, right? So I was thinking about this earlier, knowing that I was going to be on today's podcast, and I started thinking about how, when a company first starts out, they go, if they're going to have a brick and mortar building, they're going to go and get an architect, and they're going to draft up the concept and the design for the building, the way they want it laid out for their staff. They're going to have to get contractors, and they're going to do all of this back end work first to plan for what's coming. And I think what happens is once the building is established and they have their grand opening, the staff goes in and they get about the business of doing what they do, they forget that the digital world is the exact same thing, that you have to look at it as, I need to go out there and build. You can't just throw up a website. You didn't just throw up your building, right? You just can't slap on the graphic and say that's good enough. No, you have to plan. Why? Because everything that is on the internet is visible, and you have to be able to see how that's going to impact your consumer. If you're not positioning what you have in a way that your consumer sees that it's easy to understand and it's easy to use, you're going to lose them. And the worst thing you can do is have people come to where you are, whether it's your website or social media platforms or your blog posts or your podcast, and get turned off from you and never come back. That was your opportunity. That's like someone coming in your front door and your staff not ask them how they doing, how can I help you? They don't say a word to them. They walk all the way around your store or your business, and no one says anything that's appealing to them, and they're going to walk out and they will never come back. And the worst form of advertising, last thing I'm going to say on that, the worst form of advertising is bad. The word of mouth advertising that's bad. Them talking about how bad it was to work with your company or to walk in your company. And it's the same thing digitally too. If you're not representing yourself well, they're going to have a bad experience, and they're not going to speak well on you, especially if someone brings up, your name. It won't be good for you unless you take the time to look at your branding and say, okay, how do we tighten up everything and how do we build it with forward thinking to last the next 5 years, the next 10 years. And you want to really get on the cutting edge of what's happening in technology. You want to utilize some of those things that, in your branding and your marketing. And you just want to look like a trendsetter. You want to look like a leader in your industry so that you can have that magnetic attraction to get even more people coming out to do business with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what sometimes you alluded, if they come, people come and see an ad and they come to your website or they come to your business, because you deal with some people who are more bricks and mortar as well as online, and they don't have their house in order. It's a wasted effort. And Dan Kennedy went on about something. He says, just because a company has tons of money doesn't mean they have any brains. Talked about, it was some organization, it was like a nonprofit. They had spent like $10 million on an advertising campaign to send them, and they never bothered telling people that they were going to receive calls about this. They weren't coached. They didn't even, weren't even capable. So people would be phoning or writing in or going to the website, and there's nothing, right? So it's just, they might have well have just lit their money on fire because it created a great brand presence online, but they lost the opportunity because they didn't weren't ready to receive. So,
Well, so you bring up a good point. How do you take the existing revenue that you have and use it in a different way to generate more revenue, more response, right? So one of the things we do is we take a holistic approach when we come into a company and look at all of the areas where they might need help.
yeah,
It's not just about advertising. It's about training your staff. It's
yeah,
about getting your managers prepared. It's about increasing productivity and having them have buy-in to the vision itself. You don't want to have a call center that's used to operating at a certain level, and then you invest in advertising, and then they get an uptick in incoming calls, and the people aren't ready for it. Like you were talking about, that's not what you want. You want to put a bonus structure in place. You want to put incentives in place. You want to have team competitions. You want to have them be a part of that growth, and then you'll see explosive growth because everything is working
yeah.
in the right way that it needs to help you get what you're looking for.
Yeah, they all have to work together in one organized way. So that's we all have our similar approach. We look at where they're at and see all those little bits and pieces, and if they're in place. So, Betty, you got anything else you want to throw in here?
Well, it's a good point that the both of you just made. That you can have the greatest road in the world, but if you go to the end of if you send the people to the destination and there's a sign that says closed on the door, what have you actually done? Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing productive anyway. So in my mind, it's always we'll build the destination first, and then when the growth does occur, you're ready to handle it.
Absolutely. And I
Absolutely.
think
I
most
think most
business
business
owners
owners
want
want
that.
that.
They just
They
don't
just
know how
don't
to
know.
go about it. And that's where we come in. We can come in and
Yeah.
help them walk through that process. It's not as hard as they think. If you're a business owner and you're watching this, you know how to run your business. You know what you're doing, but you don't know what you don't know. And that's where we can come in and show you these are some areas where we can help you get stronger in the areas where you need it. And then before you know it, you're getting the results you're looking for. That weight is lifted off of you because more people are seeing you and responding. A website should be, number one, sticky. When people come into your website and they're bouncing right off of it, that means it's not sticky. It's not appealing. It's not attractive. It's not holding their attention. We can help you with that. The content has to be relevant. It's not enough to have content. Well, we put up a blog post every day, every week. Well, if it's not relevant, it doesn't matter because no one's going to read it. You're not going to have any kind of interaction with your audience, no traction with your social media. So those are all the different things that we can come in and just talk to you about and help you work through.
Yeah, and that's where sometimes it doesn't have to be fancy. I think I'm guilty of this too. We get too complex. We have many things in it. The sites that I've created over the years that have had the most success have been like 2 or 3 sentences and a buy button. So if somebody wants it, you get them there. They just, oh, I'm in the right spot. But other things take a lot more work, and so that's yeah. So that's their invitation again to come reach out to Stephen. He's on LinkedIn. He's got his MannaFest Media LLC.com is in the chat chat there in the comments. Go make an appointment with him. You come visit us at totaltrafficandconversion.com, and you can reach out. We're also on LinkedIn and everywhere, so you can reach out and talk to us. And we're looking forward to collaborating with you, Stephen, in the future, where we can together and come up with a really comprehensive full service package for people to really get their branding, get their messaging, get their image all under control, and do all the little things that are needed in order to get happy customers, happy clients, and grow their business. So
that's right. They're doing business with someone. They might as well do business with you. So
yeah,
let us help you get more clients. That's what it's about.
Hard to imagine somewhere else where they can go to get the level of service that we can provide collectively with with Roy and Betty and yourself, and we have a few other collaborators who do some very specialized things, and so that's the part of it is we meet with you, figure out what you need, and if we can't provide it ourselves, we can find somebody who can, and so
I think you mentioned we have over 100 years of experience. That's the kind of person you want on your team. We hit the ground running. We know what we're doing.
I was going to say you actually you bring our average age down.
That's good.
You're
I'm
the
a
you're
young
the
guy.
you're the young kid on the block now.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, Bonnie asks, "Is he gray?" Oh yeah,
Oh, absolutely. Yes, but that's just the wisdom.
that's
We
the
get,
wisdom, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
There's not enough time for us to learn all the different skill sets individually, and it's frankly a lot more fun to do it together. So,
mhm,
fun is an important part too to help you build the stamina that you need in order to have your business really go the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
it's
it's
really good
really
to
good
be
to
able
be
to
able to
fill
fill
in,
in.
like, because I think we have enough overlap with the things that we do. If we have to do it, somebody can jump in. As no one person needs to do everything. Like we would totally with the radio thing, you would be following your lead, and that would be your area. But the content in other areas, we've got an awful lot of overlap with what we do, which is
that's
part of
good.
the appeal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes us such a good team.
Yeah, that makes us a good team. So
That's
again,
right.
the invitation is to reach out, talk to us, tell us what you want to achieve, and we'll see if we can help you. So with that, any last comments before we let our audience go?
Well, I'll say thank you for not only having me on your show. I appreciate that, but also just the invitation to be a part of your team, and what you guys have already done has been amazing. And then just to know I can help and add my skill sets, the little bit
Yeah,
that I have to add, it's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what happens next.
yeah, it's always an adventure for us. So one of the things we like is that we never know who's going to walk in the door next, right? It's an opportunity to learn some completely new area, new business, and that's part of the fun.
Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Okay. Any last words, Betty? All right. I think I said happy Friday. We usually do this on a Friday, but it's happy Thursday.
That's right. Happy Thursday.
And see you later.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.